Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone had a great lunch. I'm Eric Jacobson. I'm a Senior Director of Product Management here at Salesforce. In particular, my team, we lead customization of the Lightning experience. So I'm really thrilled to be with you guys this afternoon. We're gonna have a fun chat. We're gonna talk about some of the ways that we can customize Lightning using the app builder and all the great ways that admins and developers can work together to make the experience really personalized and work exactly the way you need for your companies and organizations. Now, before we do that, I do need to briefly bring up our forward-looking statement slide here for you. As you know, Salesforce is a publicly traded company. With that, we may be making some statements talking about things that are not yet released. We do ask that you make any of your purchasing decisions, however, based on software that is generally available. Now, I want to start with a question. Have any of you guys ever tried to do this? And by this, I mean rearrange the layout of a page in Classic. You're looking at a screen like an opportunity screen. You can see here, I've got my chatter feed scrolling on the screen there, and on the right-hand side, it's blank. I've got a lot of empty white space there, and what if I wanted to do something like put my fields next to my feed? Seems like a relatively straightforward thing to do, except if any of you have ever tried it, you discover that this was really hard. You actually couldn't do this declaratively. You had to write code. You had to create a custom Visualforce page and take over the content of the screen and control it programmatically just to put your fields next to your feed. Well, I've got great news for you. In Lightning, this is easy. This was something when we looked at it and we said, we're creating Lightning experience, we went and thought about what can we do to make it better? Not just make it look better, but actually make it a more customizable, more flexible architecture. And what we did is we looked at it and we created a technology that we're calling Lightning Pages. I know we've put the word Lightning around everything, but these are Lightning Pages. And Lightning Pages are really cool because for the first time, metadata drives the experience. And so what I'm saying now is that the screen that we're looking at here is actually built as metadata. We've long said that that's the secret sauce, and we've added a whole nother dimension of metadata for you here. And what we're introducing is the Lightning Page. So that box there that's in green is actually what we call the Lightning Page, and it's a collection of Lightning components that are then displayed using a template. And what the template does is it'll divide the page up into a set of regions. You can think of these as basically areas, drop points that you can go and put your components, and you can put one or more components into each of those regions as you lay out the page. You can actually pick from different templates for different pages, so you can have different ways of dividing up the space as you see fit. And this gives you a very flexible architecture that allows you to control how the components are arranged and configured on the screen. So we got our regions here. So in this particular case, we've got 4 regions. We've got a header, a subhead, the body, and then that sidebar. And then within those regions, we bring in our Lightning components. And so you'll see there, for example, we have the highlights panel at the top, and you'll see that across the top of virtually every record home page in Lightning Experience. The sales path only shows up, however, on opportunity and lead objects at this point. Then you've got your tabs, which we'll spend a bit more time talking about. In this case, we've got an activities component, and then on the right-hand side, the related lists. But these are just the standard components that are on there. And what's really great about this is that this being driven via metadata means that we can create some really great, easy-to-use visual tools that allow you to customize this in ways easier than ever before. And what I'm talking about is the Lightning App Builder. So if I can see by a show of hands, how many of you guys have had a chance to try out Lightning App Builder? Okay, that's a good number. I'm hoping that by the end of the afternoon, everyone's ready to go take it home, try it out. It's generally available as of summer 16, so this is really exciting. We've had the ability to use App Builder to create app pages for Salesforce 1 for about a year now, but with the summer 16 release, you can now use it to customize the home page and record pages in Lightning Experience in all of your orgs. So that's really exciting. It's very easy to use. It's a drag and drop type experience, and it doesn't mean that it's just for admins. It is a great way to use it whether you're a point and click user or a developer. It's really about thinking about productivity and how we can give you the best tools to help you get your job done. And so you may think to yourself, I'm a dyed-in-the-wool developer. I want to write code. Well, the metadata is available if you want to go in and work with it that way, but I highly encourage you to try out using it with the visual tool. You'll find you can be that much more productive, and I promise you, it doesn't take away any of your developer geek cred by using some visual tools along with writing your code. It actually just makes you that much more effective at getting your job done. Now, what I think makes the Lightning platform so powerful here is the component ecosystem. Because we start you off with a set of standard components. These are what are provided to you by Salesforce. So they're built in, those are the standard parts of the experience, and they're right there ready for you to use. But you might be thinking to yourself, okay, those are great, but I need more. So that's where the ability to create custom components comes into play. And you can create custom components using the Lightning component framework. You can build your own Lightning components. And Lightning components, we'll talk a little bit about today, but there's been some other great sessions on. And Lightning components are a combination of HTML-like markup combined with JavaScript, some CSS using the Salesforce Lightning design system, and then on your back end, you may be using Apex to create a controller object for those. So that's your custom components. But you know what? You might not even need to create your own custom component, because that's where we've got App Exchange for components. And this is where we've got a marketplace of components being built by our partners, being built by our customers, submitted live to the Exchange so that you can actually drag and drop, install those components right into your org and start working with them. And the beauty of it is that all three of these types of components work seamlessly together. So you don't need to say, oh, well, I want to build standard components, so I'm going to just work that way. Or am I creating a challenge for myself if I want to bring in custom components? No, they're designed to seamlessly blend. And that's one of the real great strengths that we've done here with Lightning, is that for the first time ever, the ability to customize is seamless. It's built on the exact same technology that we use to build the default experience. So you're able to seamlessly blend this configuration of standard components along with those custom components and create a really nice experience that gives you exactly what you need. And to take a look at it, why don't we switch over to the demo here, and let's actually dig in and try it out a little bit. So here we are. I happen to be logged into my Summer 16 org. So those of you that are still on Spring might notice a couple of differences here. But we're looking at Summer 16, and I'm on one of the common screens that you'll see in Salesforce Lightning Experience. This is the opportunity detail screen. So record home page for an opportunity. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump in and I'm going to edit this page. Now, what makes this incredibly powerful is that I can edit the page simply by going to the gear cog menu in the top header there and selecting Edit Page. What it will do for me then is it's going to open the page inside the Lightning App Builder. It'll take just a second there. And what you'll see is essentially the same page that we were just looking at on the desktop, but now in an editable mode. So context is automatically carried over there. There's the same record that we were looking at is right here now in the builder so that I know what I'm looking at. And let's take a second and look a little bit and orient ourselves to the tool here. So on the left-hand side of the tool, you'll see here that we have our component palette. And the component palette is divided into three sections. At the top, you have the standard components. So as I mentioned, those are the ones that are built and provided to you by Salesforce. And the set of standard components will vary depending on the page that you're looking at. We give you just a set of components that are appropriate for use there. Then you'll have your custom components. So those are components that you would have built and created in your org yourself. So if you had developers or hired developers to build components for you and they created them right in your org, or if they were installed using an unmanaged package, they'll show up there in that custom section. And then lastly, down below is where we have our custom managed section. And this is where we'll see any of the components that come from App Exchange, as well as any other components that were installed as part of a managed package. So you'll see that there, and then at the bottom, you get a link that'll actually let you jump out if you wanted to find additional components on App Exchange. We can take you right over to the Exchange. You can shop for components. A couple clicks later, you have them installed into your org and ready to go, so you can start using them in your pages. Okay. Then, in the center section is our page. So you can see some little dotted lines are dividing up, showing me the regions of the page. And then I have my components here, but now they are actually selectable. And when I select a component, over on the right-hand side, what you'll see now is what we call the property editor. And this is where I can see all of the various properties so that I can configure my component. And the set of properties will vary from component to component, depends on what capabilities are available for them. But let's take a look at a couple real quickly here. So for example, we're selected on the highlights panel. And part of what makes the highlights panel really powerful here is that it's leveraging a lot of the metadata that you've already created in your Salesforce org. So even if you are brand new to Lightning Experience, the first time you turn it on, the highlights panel is automatically going to work. It's automatically going to have the metadata it needs because we pull from standard metadata that you already have in your org. In fact, we even explain to you how it works. So you can see here that, for example, the fields, the things that are highlighted here in green, are actually pulled for you from compact layout. So those of you that are familiar with Salesforce 1 know all about compact layout. Well, in Lightning Experience, we use those same fields from the compact layout to power the summary there in the highlights panel. At the same time, your page layout metadata is also very heavily used in Lightning Experience. So in the case of the highlights panel, it's what drives and specifies the set of page level actions that also appear in that highlights panel at the top. But obviously, one of the key places where it's going to come into play is going to be over here on the details panel. It's what drives the record details. So when we look at our form and we see the set of fields that we're going to want to work with to interact with this object and this record, that's going to be controlled once again by that details panel. And in fact, from the builder here, I actually get the ability that I can jump and I can very easily jump over and edit that page layout without having to go and separately navigate to it. So I can click a link right from my highlights, from my property editor there, and take myself right into the screen I need to be able to go in and edit the page layout for this record. So just like that, I can jump over, I can make any of those necessary changes. I would then come back over into the builder here. I could click on the refresh button and immediately see my changes reflected there so that I know that I've made some changes to my metadata. I can verify them right here in the builder and then push it out and save it and be sure that I'm seeing everything in production as my customers start to see it. So one of the ways you can think about the app builder when using it for Lightning Experience is that it's really sort of your central command center for customizing the pages of the experience here. So we've got a lot of great capability there. Now, let's take a look at what we can do to customize this. So the first thing I want to do is, I want to enhance my opportunity. I want to give my salespeople some additional tools that'll help them do their job. But the screen's already fairly busy, and there's not really a great place for me to put all of those tools on the page right now. So how about I create a little bit of additional screen real estate? Well, the way that I can do that is I can go in and I can configure the tabs component that's right here on the page. So you can see by default it's got my activities, my collaborate, and my details. Well, some of the things that I can do is I can control which tab is shown by default. So if I don't want the activities to be shown by default, I want to see the details, well, that's as simple as setting a property on that tabs component there. So I can very easily configure that to make my users as productive as possible by setting those defaults. But if I want to create some additional screen real estate, well, I can just add a new tab. So I can add my additional tab. I can pick what I want it to be labeled. I can decide, do I want it to be one of the standard labels that we provide for you or something custom? So I'm going to create this as my Tools tab. There we go. And what you'll see now is my tabs panel over here has automatically updated. I have a new tab called Tools. And I have an additional part of screen real estate where I can go and put my own custom components. So just like that, I've been able to add to the canvas of the page here and provide myself a spot where I can do some of these things. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to rearrange the page a little bit. The first thing I want to do is I want to bring the account insights over from the right-hand side here and put them into my new Tools tab. I like them, but I want to make sure that my related lists are right at the top of the right-hand column there. So I'm going to move the account insights over. You can see it automatically reflows, takes advantage of the wider space that's available there. So it's filling up and showing me more of my account insights. But at the same time, I also have some additional tools that I want to bring into play here as well. And this is a place where I'm going to take advantage of some of the things that my partners have provided for me. So I happen to know that, let's see, I'm looking at opportunities here, and I want to perhaps see my similar opportunities. So similar to a feature that has existed in Salesforce Classic, perhaps I want to see other opportunities that may exist for this same account as a way to make sure that we're keeping track of everything that we need to help us close this deal. So I've got a similar opportunities component provided by one of our partners here. So I can just click and drag that over and drop it into my Tools tab there. And then the other one that I want to bring over is another component by one of our other partners called Altify. And it's a component called Max that'll actually provide us some suggestive advice to help us with closing the deal there. So you can see, just like that, we've been able to mix in components from multiple different partners, allowing us to very seamlessly integrate the experience right here on the opportunity page. And the other piece that I'm going to build is actually a component that I've developed myself. But the beauty of it in this case is that I didn't just build it as a component, I actually built it declaratively. I used our visual workflow, or our flow tool, to allow me to create a set of screens, an interview, that I want to be able to put on the opportunity page here to help my agents So I'm going to bring over from the standard components here, I'm going to bring over the flow component. And I'm going to put that on the right-hand side here. And you can see it allows me to pick, if I had multiple flows there, it would allow me to pick which flow I want to use. And I'm going to pick my deal support request there. I'm going to go ahead and save my page now because I've made all the changes that I want to make. So we've saved our change. We've created that custom metadata now. There's one last step that we need to do. In order for users to see all of these changes, we need to activate the page. So with another click here, we can go ahead and we can activate it. We can tell the system that we want it to now use our custom page instead of the default page. The beauty of it is that you're never losing your default page. You can always go back to it if you need to. So at any time, if you want to go back to the default page, you can go turn off your custom page and you're back to the default. There's no risk involved in creating a custom page here. So we go ahead and hit save. We've activated our page now. It tells us that the activation has been saved. We can now leave the app builder. Come back into our opportunity page here. And we'll see that, first off, I want you to notice that the Details tab is what was selected as default. It no longer started us off on the Activity tab. If we want to see our fields first, great. See your fields first. You have the ability to set that just with one option there on that property. But then on the right-hand side, you'll see there's that deal support request. So I've got my additional component there that's asking me, what assistance do I need to close the deal? And I can say, yeah, maybe I need a PM roadmap presentation. That definitely will help. So we'll put in a PM roadmap presentation. We'll hit next. It tells us that a request is being processed. In fact, I think if we refresh the view here, we can actually even see that not only is the request being processed, but it actually helped move the deal along, and we're now in the proposal state. So it can be the difference in helping you automate your opportunity. But if I drive over here to my tools, you'll see here as well that I can see the information there. So I see my similar opportunities, I see my account insights, and then I see all of the information there, that big deal alert, letting me know that this is important. I want to make sure that I give it the attention that it needs. So just like that, using the Lightning App Builder, in a couple of clicks, you can customize the experience, really making the records work the way you need to make your users as productive as can be. And the beauty of it is that it's all built using metadata. So no longer does it require you to replace a page with code. You can do it with metadata. Now, we didn't stop there. It wasn't creating the ability to customize the record pages is great, but we wanted to do more. So remember the home screen of Lightning Experience here, and we've had this default home screen that has existed there. But you know what? What if we want to go and customize that? Well, you know what? We can do that as well. So we're going to separately go into the app builder, and we're going to create a new version of the home page here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring up the app builder from setup, and I'm going to tell it that I want to create a new page. It's going to ask me what type of page do I want to create. So in this case, I'm going to tell it I want to create a home page. It gives me a little graphic there, so it clues me into what I'm creating. It'll tell me that for now, I've got one template. I can create a standard home page, and we'll call this custom home. There we go. And now we can start. We've got a blank canvas, so we can create the homepage however we want it to be. And I'm going to bring in a combination of some standard components along with some custom components, and I'm going to quickly start to build out this page and make it look just the way I want. So instead of seeing that performance chart at the top, maybe I want to use a map that'll show me where my opportunities are coming from across the United States. Below that, I'm going to bring in a standard filter list component. And this is an incredibly powerful standard component because it allows you to tap into any of your saved and shared lists across virtually all standard objects and all of your custom objects. So I can go in here and I can say, you know what, I want to see a list of my leads. And I'm going to pick that I want to see my partner leads filter there, and I can even control how many records it shows. So I can tell it I want to see 4 partner leads shown by default there. And then I'm going to bring in some additional partner components. So I'm using TaskRay to help me manage my projects and tasks. So they've provided a wide variety of components here that allow me to get a summary, a highlight of how my day looks in terms of what tasks do I need to get done. So I can bring my today view in as well as my time entry component, so that I can drag that down at the bottom there and see what else I might need to get done or log any time that I'm doing today. So I can put those there. And then let's see, what else do we want to put on here? We want to have a list of our opportunities. So we'll bring in another component that actually lets us look at the health of all of our opportunities. And then the last thing I want to do is this is my home page. So it's coming in when people are seeing this as the first screen they look at it in the day. This is a great place for me to provide some reminders to my users. So maybe I want to be able to have a way as an admin to remind people of an important event that's coming up. Well, Silverline's built a really cool component they call the Jumbotron. I kind of think of it as like a billboard component. And what we can do here is we can use this component as a way to very easily go ahead here and we can start to customize it, and we can, let's see here, we can change what image is shown. So there we go. We can see Lenny Kravitz there. We can go in, we can customize where it goes so that when you push the button, we can have it change that. We can change it so that we can make it be exactly what we want there as a way so that we can easily see a way to visually confirm to our users what they're seeing when they come in, that we can give them just some exciting news about what's coming up. And you can create as many of these billboards, place them on the page, and very easily put them on there like that so that you can just have a way to provide some compelling information for your users and keep it fresh for them when they come to the home screen at the start of their day. We'll save the page. And now when we go ahead and activate it here, we have an additional option when we're creating the home page, which is that we can actually control who the home page is visible to. We can either make it the default home page so that everybody sees it, or we can actually assign it to one or more specific profiles. So this is a great capability. If you want to have a different landing screen for your sales users versus your managers versus your executives, you can provide each of them a different view when they come into Lightning Experience every morning, because you can create a customized homepage per profile. So I can just very easily go in here. Well, I'm the system administrator at the moment, but I also want standard users to see it. Click a couple checkboxes. Hit next, activate my page like that, and once again now when I leave the app builder, jump back here, what we will see is when we go to our home screen, we'll now see there is our customized home page, there's our heat map, our Jumbotron, everything working exactly the way we laid it out, customized, in this case, for the profile. So you've got all that ability to really dial in the experience, making it exactly the way you want it to be. Now, okay, so now we've looked at record pages, we've looked at the home page, but we didn't stop there. In fact, we added the ability to create custom app pages. So once again, we're gonna jump back over here to the to setup. We'll take a look at our builder again. And in this case, I've got a page that I've already started working on, and I'm going to open up this page here called the Command Center. And this is an app page. And the beauty of this is that it's a page that I've now built as a net new page. I can add it to the navigation of Lightning Experience here. I can also add it into Salesforce 1. So when I go and build this page here, let's see, I've got a few things here, but I might want to make some additional customizations to it. So for example here, on this leads component, I can control whether I see just my leads or maybe I want to see all leads, so I can see everybody's leads, and I can see where business is coming for all my account reps across the country there. And so that's the kind of capability that we've provided power to the admins, because developers are able to build their components in a way that they are very easily customizable and exposed to admins to be able to configure. So this is the beauty of the connection between developers and admins that's possible with Lightning in ways that was never possible before. So we can do that right there. I can, once again, I could drag in another custom component here, just like that. We've built out our page. We want to save it once again. And then once again, we need to activate. So hopefully you're seeing a similar pattern here. We save and then we activate. Now, you only need to activate a page once. If you come back in and make subsequent changes to it, it's already activated, so all you need to do is save it. But now in this case, I can choose where I want this page to be exposed. So in this case, I want to add it to Lightning Experience, and I want to add it, so therefore I want to add it to one of my navigation menus. We introduced the concept of customizable navigation menus, so now we're giving you the ability here to add pages to those navigation menus right from the app builder. So you can see here, I can drag and drop and I can configure where I want it to be. So maybe I'm gonna put it second on the list. So it comes up right after the home page there. We'll hit save. And just like that, we've actually built and published that page to Lightning Experience as well. And not only did we now just customize the page, but we actually created a completely new page and added it into the navigation menu there. So we'll hit back. We'll jump back out there, and if I expand my navigation menu, you'll see there's my command center. So like that, we've actually extended the capabilities, we've added new screen real estate, and I've built a hybrid page here. So it might look like a dashboard, but this is actually a custom app page. It's combining in some report charts along with some custom map components and some additional third-party components. So all together they're building a really powerful custom point application. It's a great way to think about, if you have a specific problem, a nice bite-sized problem, you can solve it with one of these app pages, give somebody a very focused, targeted screen to look at. And what makes it really powerful is that it's not just about creating these screens for Lightning Experience. In fact, if we can jump back to slides, what you'll see now is that these app pages are not just for the desktop. In fact, you can build a single app page and have it be responsive. It can start on your phone, it can extend to your tablet, and then to your desktop there. So a single metadata-based page, and it will be fully responsive across all of your devices. We think that's incredibly powerful, and that's all available to you now in Summer 16. Okay. Now, to kind of move on a little bit here, I think it's really interesting to think about Lightning as the connection between our admins and our developers. Much the way, Lightning comes from the sky and connects down to the ground, it also unifies our admins and our developers. And I was talking a lot about how developers can build components and expose properties, but admins can build components as well. I talked to you a little bit about that flow component that I brought onto the page there. And so as an admin, you can declaratively build components by using flows. This is a brand new pilot. It's something we're introducing in Summer 16, so you can build a screen-based flow, and then you can add that flow as a component to a page, and you can use it in Salesforce 1 or in Lightning Experience. So if that's something that interests you, please reach out to your account rep. We'll be happy to get you signed up and into the pilot there. We're really excited about it. We think it's a great way to extend the capabilities that you can do declaratively using our process tools and our visual flow tools. Now, switching gears a little bit further, if we think about it from the development side, for the developers, when you're thinking about building for Lightning Experience here, well, you can create and deliver those custom Lightning pages. Now, I mentioned that they are metadata. That means they're exposed via the metadata API. You can access them via the tooling API, or you can build them visually using the app builder. Now, the beauty of it is that all of that metadata is fully packageable. It's supported in change sets. So you can deploy all of your standard practices about building in sandboxes and pushing to production with these tools. And then you can also deliver those components that enhance the experience of those standard and custom pages. So you can build components and then hand them to your admins to be able to consume and reuse. And the beauty of it is that if you build your component in a way where it's configurable with properties, you get more mileage out of your component. Instead of building a single purpose component, you can actually build a reusable piece of functionality. So it can be built for one page, but then if it's configurable, it can be used on multiple pages, and it can be made to be adapted to the context of what it's built there. So let's talk a little bit about what it means to build a component for Lightning. Well, a key part of it is using the right interfaces. And so yes, now we're getting a little bit more technical. We're talking about the coding side of it. And when you're creating your Lightning component there, you actually can declare what interfaces the component implements. And so the first of them, the thing that you're gonna wanna know about is one we call FlexiPage, available for all page types. And what that basically does is it says, hey, this is a component that should work on any Lightning page, whether it's the home page, an app page, a record page. It doesn't require any specific knowledge of context, so use it everywhere. That's gonna be the interface you wanna declare there. If you're building a component that's specifically for the record page, like we were looking at there, you're gonna wanna declare it as available for record home. Because that means that it's record specific. It wants to know that, hey, I'm on an opportunity or I'm on an account, not generically I'm on any random page. So that's an interface that will tell us only make this component available to you if you're building a record page. So remember I talked about that the component list could actually be dynamic? This is part of what signals to the app builder which components are eligible to be used on which types of pages. Additionally, you can pass in an interface called Force has record ID. And this is actually how you pass the context. So if you declare that you implement Force has record ID, we will dynamically pass the record ID into your Lightning component so that you can use it immediately and reference it. So you don't have to guess what record you're on. We'll actually tell you what record you're on, and you can actually then pass that back to your controller that you're using in any of your SOCL queries and actually generate the request to get the data you need to have context of the record that you're looking at. And then lastly, we also have one that's called Force has S object name. And so a little bit more generically than has record ID, this would be a way if all you want to know is am I on an opportunity page or am I on an account page, this is a way that you can get back the name of the object that you're on. So that'll pass that information into you there. Now, we've provided some really nice assistance as well for you in Summer 16. When you go to create a new Lightning component, there's now some options that actually appear there inside of the inside of the developer console. So when you create a new Lightning component there, you'll see a series of checkboxes, and those checkboxes map back to the interface that we were talking about here. So when you say that you want a Lightning page, it's going to go ahead and add available for all page types for you. If you say that you want a Lightning record page, it adds available for record home and has record ID. If you want has S object name, you're going to need to still manually add that one in. But these are just some really nice, quick shortcuts for you there that'll allow you to easily get started and have what you need to make your component appear right where you're going to need to use it. Okay. Additionally, if you recall, when we were in the builder, we had the components showing up in the property palette, in the component palette on the left-hand side of the builder there. And the components all had a really nice appearance to them. So let's talk a little bit about how they show up and what you need to do to control how they show up. Well, first off, as I mentioned before, if it's unmanaged code, so code that you've built right in your org or installed as a managed package, it's going to show up in that custom section there. And that's how you create components that'll show up in the custom section. If you want it to show up in the custom managed section, you're going to need to have the components built, put into a managed package, and then install the managed package into your org. So anything that's built in a managed package will show up there in the custom managed section. If you want to build a component that shows up in the standard section, come talk to me afterwards about a job at Salesforce. I'll be happy to help you, hook you up with our recruiters. Additionally, the name that shows up there, you'll notice that is not generally a developer-friendly name, but it's a human-readable name. It's a label, so that's handled through the design file, which is one of the components of a Lightning component bundle. So when you're in your developer console, you're going to use the design file, and then you can specify the label attribute in the design component element to specify the human-readable name that you want to appear for your component. So it may be camel-cased and you've taken all the spaces out of it, but when you're presenting it to your admins, you actually want to make it look like English. So this is the way that you can make your component have a nice English-friendly name for it. This is also where you go in and you configure which attributes are exposed for declarative use. So your component may have 20 attributes, but only a handful of them are the ones that you want to expose to be configured at design time in the builders. So the way you do that is through the specification of a design attribute there. And you'll see that you can specify which field, what label, so once again, you can provide a human-friendly name for it, and then you can provide the data source. So you're saying, in this case, if you want to provide a standard static drop-down list for that, you can specify the values for it there. And then lastly, you can provide an SVG graphic file. So this is a vector-based graphic to provide the icon. And we highly recommend that this is your opportunity to brand your components. So create a custom icon, even if they're for internal use. It's a great way to kind of leave your mark as a developer and give it a little bit of style there as well. So with that, we've covered a lot of what I wanted to cover today. The last thing I wanted to leave you with was a brief look into the roadmap of what's coming for app builder and customization here. So we've got a variety of things that are coming up in the next several releases. One of the key things people have asked about is, can I customize my pages per record type? I can customize my page layouts today by record type and profile. Well, yes, that's part of our plan here, is to also allow you to customize the Lightning pages by record type and profile. So you could actually provide, for example, a different set of components if I'm working on a retail opportunity versus a wholesale opportunity. So that will be that ability there. Additionally, pages per app, and this is a whole new concept there that you'll see with some of the changes coming to the navigation and Lightning experience. Watch for later this year will be the ability to actually switch between apps and even be able to have customized pages per app. So some great capabilities there. Next one is one I'm personally really excited about. Conditional logic on pages. This is, in some ways, another way of talking about probably one of the top-ranked open idea exchange ideas right now, which is dependent page layouts. This will be part of the technology that we use to accomplish that. We'll be allowing you to put logic into pages. So imagine, show this component if the opportunity is greater than $100,000, or show me the commission status if it's my deal, but don't show it if it's somebody else's deal. So all those types of things that you want to be able to do and make your pages smarter, make them more conditional, are things that we're thinking about there. Custom page templates, being able to have control over how the screen is divided up. So we've got some standard ways of dividing it up. We're going to open it up and actually allow you as developers to be able to build your own custom templates for it. Because the beauty of it is under the hood, a page template is just a Lightning component. So much in the same way that you're building Lightning components to actually display on the page, you'll be able to create a Lightning component that is used to construct the framework of the page there. And then bringing a lot of these same capabilities back to mobile. So we started with app pages on the phone first and brought those to the desktop. We've now brought desktop capabilities like customizing the home page, customizing the record pages. We want to bring those capabilities back to the phone as well, so you can bring your custom components and custom page layouts there, right there on the phone, and then being able to create great multi-page applications. So imagine that not just those single screen apps that we were looking at there, but actually having a series of pages that you can navigate between. So these are just some of the things that we're hard at work on in terms of what we intend to do for customization of Lightning experience throughout the next year. And with that, I want to thank everyone for their time this afternoon. I hope this was an informative session for you.